Hi, Freeman again with Silverbridge Senior Transitions. Got two wonderful guests here today. We're going to tell stories and do a little bit of an interview. I want to introduce Diane Botts and Donna Ahrens. Donna and Diane are two, immediate clients, past clients. We just completed a months-long transition from a home that they owned in the Port Orchard area in Kitsap County. And they moved here into a very nice independent living unit where they have some additional care when needed. And food is prepared. They have a walking trail right outside for Molly, the dog. I met Diane and Donna maybe 4 months ago. And I believe Donna told me that somebody here at the independent living facility recommended us, and that's why you contacted us. But my initial contact was mainly with Diane, and she had a lot of questions, and they had a very nice home in Port Orchard, but the problem was that all the bedrooms were upstairs, and it was a big house, and like all houses, requires maintenance. And it was just getting to a point where maybe you wanted to think about getting some additional help. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, as the years went by, and I just retired in 2020 and had some health issues, and so I was doing I had a person come and do landscaping, etc., a couple times a year, but other than that, Donna actually would mow the lawn and I would take care of all of the outside stuff that needed to be done, and planting, etc., and keeping the deer from eating all the flowers and that sort of thing. And also vacuuming and all of the big things, hauling things up and down the stairs. And Donna was having much trouble with the stairs, and it was just not going to work anymore. If we had a bedroom downstairs, we might have stayed longer, but even then, the maintenance and the upkeep, etc., were beyond our scope. And so that was why I was searching for a place, and this became the perfect place. And Jim became the perfect person to connect all these dots, because it's amazingly difficult. Much more so than I ever anticipated, to get all the pieces together so that you could have it happen in some way that made sense. And thank God he was here to do it, because there would be no way I would have been able to do this in spite of a long career. I'm a nurse practitioner. My world is so different than this that there's no way without his help we could have accomplished it. We're very, very, very satisfied with our move and our home sale and all of the process that went with it, including helping us downsize. There's no way we could have done this without some help and guidance.
Right, and so you two had careers. You were, as you say, a nurse practitioner. Donna, you were a histologist.
And forensic.
Forensic, okay.
Yeah.
And so it's not because, you worked in big organizations and you helped people and you did that all your life, so you had experience, but not experience necessarily, in what we had to do in making the transition.
No, and it's amazing how much stuff you collect over the years of your life, and you move them, and 20 more years goes by, and the stuff you had, you added to, and trying to make that decision and get rid of things is not easy without help.
Right.
There's no way.
Well, and you had nice stuff. You had art collections and
that
books.
Was very difficult. Yeah.
Right, and we spent a lot of money on those things. Acquiring them and
right, and
you
they had a lot of
them.
meaning.
Yeah, they had meaning. Sure.
Yeah.
So it's not easy.
No.
But and sometimes we might think that the stuff that we spend so much money on, have so much emotional investment in, is worth something. And in your case, it was worth a little bit. We brought in an expert. It's a company called Blue Nest Home. Olympia Bohr was your representative.
Yes.
And Olympia and her team were able to sort through the stuff, things that they could sell, things that maybe wouldn't, sort it out between stuff that would sell, donations, garbage dump, and they helped you do that. How'd that process go? How'd you feel about it?
Process went well. I think both of us would have liked to have gotten more money back for some of the artwork, etc. But as far as the process, there's no way we could have done it without them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we talked about moving. You had some furniture and some things you wanted to bring. I know Donna had some favorite stuff that she wanted to have.
I think the hardest thing for me was I had about 1,000 cookbooks.
Uh-huh.
I had to get rid, had to sell most of them. And I thought, that's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even if you're not moving into assisted living or just moving somewhere else, the stuff is always, you think you need it, but when you got to move, it's more of a burden than an asset.
Yeah.
So taking care of it is really a big part of it. But moving, we had United Moving and Storage from Bremerton come and make estimates and explain to you what the cost is and how it works, and then what else happened? What did they do to make your move easier?
Well, they were very accessible in terms of if we had questions about something might be missing, sort of, they got back to you right away about it. They were very effective with that, and they placed things where you wanted them, and it didn't take them very long to move us in. Mm-hmm. It was quite quick, because we moved in November 6th, and from that day on, then I think about 2 days later, Olympia started the process of the whole house. So I think all of the connections were very good.
And just, speaking for me, I can't possibly do all that stuff, myself. And
No.
so having a network of people that I trust, that are proven performers, everybody that helped Diane and Donna were people that I had worked with before, and I knew that they would do a good job. Everybody, Diane and Donna, of course, had some questions, and they wanted to find out who can we work with, and who can we trust, and how can we trust them. Mm-hmm. That's part of the process. And I think the initial part of it is just communication. When people have questions, I went over to Donna and Diane's house, and we sat down, and we just took whatever time we needed to sort out the questions and figure out who's who. And how did that go?
That went fine.
Yeah.
And that was probably the key to the whole thing, was having you as the interim person who knew what was going to happen, reaching out to everybody and bringing us all together and keeping us together in a logical fashion, so that we knew what was going on. And we knew also that all we needed to do was pick up the phone or send an email, and we would get an answer.
Like I said, I have sold 5 houses, and Jim's been the best real estate agent I've ever worked with, and thank God for him.
Yeah, well, thank God for you. Thanks, Donna. I appreciate it. All right, so we took care of the stuff. We had to figure out how to get the house cleaned up a little bit, which you did a lot of, actually. And I recommended at that time that we get an inspection for your home. Your home was in good shape. You'd lived there for quite a while, trouble-free. You had maintained your home over a period of years. You had the service done on the furnace and things like that. But it was a little bit of a shock to find out some of the things in the inspection.
Well, particularly, the upper portion, because we had no idea there had been rodents, because we never had any sign of them on the floors that we lived on. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of thing was a real surprise to see pictures of the damage that had been done from that, because we wouldn't have known that.
Right.
We didn't hear anybody scurrying around upstairs, so it was really odd. But other than that, but finding those things out is extremely important, and I was glad to see that it got taken care of.
Yeah, well, it was important to you.
Well, yeah.
Number one, because you didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But when you're going through a real estate transaction, if you're trying to sell a home, people are going to inspect. And
of course.
So you're either going to do it yourself and find out what's wrong, or you're going to let them do it. Mm-hmm. And if you do it in the midst of negotiating a sale, it's a shock. It's a surprise, and people, they don't trust you anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
if that's bad, what else is bad?
Right, but what are they not telling us? You know?
Exactly.
So, but we were able to get the inspection done. There wasn't a lot to do, but there was some. And how did that process go?
Went fine. We had some delay on some of the repair because of the illness in the case of one of the persons that was actually providing the repair. But other than, other than that, it went fine. And the interchange between us was fine. It was easy to pay the bill that needed to be paid, etc., to the persons that did other things. It was stressful, the whole process. But again, Jim, you know, being our backup man was what held it all together.
Yeah, we were able to get competitive bids for most of the work.
Yeah.
Some of the things were kind of small, so we just got them done. But I think, in my opinion, the cost came in pretty well. And the work was done, it was re-inspected and done well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and here's, I don't know if we can see Molly, but Molly the dog has joined us.
She just took over my chair.
Right. And so overall, it took months, not because the work was all that difficult, it was just a matter of getting you folks arranged so you were comfortable. We did move you first before putting the home on the market. We did some cleanup, we did an inspection, we corrected some items that needed correction. And then we got some good photography and some good virtual staging. And how did that look to you?
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
It really showed off the house, I think, quite a bit.
Well, I think that means a lot to me because you're a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of your own photos and things, so you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Seems more logical to do that than try to bring in furniture to stage a house.
Mm-hmm.
And also more logical for the people to move out before this takes place so that you can do what you need to do without interrupting each other's lives.
Right.
So yeah, I think the virtual means is excellent. And then the person that's looking at this online can see it with the stuff you decided to put there, and then they can see it blank. And with that blank slate, if the place doesn't look like something they want to walk into, they won't. But that can put them over the line to say, gee, you know, think I'll go walk through that house.
Right.
Yeah, and I think those staging processes are very important.
You guys had done some pretty good planning in advance. Most of your estate documents and all that were in order. You did your own research on where you wanted to move. Some people love to do that. Other people might rely on other professionals known as placement agents to help them with that. If there's one thing that I want people who are watching this to take away, it was, you know, it came to a point in your life, nobody wants to leave their house. You know, I don't, you didn't. But, you know, it does come to a point where you have to make a decision about care versus staying in your home and how you're going to do that. And I think you found probably the most cost-effective way to make that transition to care. You still have a beautiful home. It's in a good location. There are outdoor amenities around where you can take advantage of and take Molly for walks every day when it's not raining. And if you don't want to cook, although Donna loves to cook, you have a really, I think, a super chef up there who takes care of it.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we have our meals delivered every day in the evening, and the food is so excellent, and there's always plenty of it. That some of it can be lunch the next day if you want to eat at lunch or whatever you want to do with it, but it certainly makes sense for us. So,
right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, looking back now 4 or 6 months ago when, you know, things were worrisome and you were not desperate, but you're, you know, anxious to find answers and did all that work as you did, would you say that your transition has been a success? Are you happy here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so it doesn't have to be bad.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge,
Yeah.
but with the right help and the right team, things smooth out. And every box that needs to be checked will get checked. And during the process, you'll get communicated with, and it'll happen in the best way that it can. Yes, you do have to pay some people to do things, But if you're in the right position, we can help you figure that out. All right, well, I just want to say, Diane and Donna, I really appreciate the fact that you chose me and our team and all the people that work with us. So thank you very much for letting us help you. We always get to know people quite well through this process, and I always feel like we're making new friends.
Yes, we appreciate you as well. Thank you.
Okay, great.
There's a dog named Toby that lives down the street that always comes here and pees on her grass. And she is not amused. And those two have a few words to say to each other. But yes, she loves the area. She loves to go on the trail, which blew my mind because she didn't like to walk trails before. And hello.
Hi, Molly.
Hello.